Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
Colbert Feed in Sigourney, more than just a feed mill. Colbert Feed is your horse source in Keokuk County. We provide bulk or bag feed for your livestock. We have a selection of horse feed, dog food, cat food, and bird food. Colbert Feed is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. You can stop by and see Colbert Feed by the Expo in Sigourney or call 641-622-2828. That's Colbert Feed in Sigourney. The Keokuk County Veterans Affairs Office in Sigourney wishes you the very best this holiday season. And please remember those that aren't with their families this year, as they are protecting our great country. For more information on Keokuk County Veterans Affairs, contact Michelle Herman, the Veteran Affairs Administrator at 101 South Main in Sigourney. Brushed by Jude at 116 First Avenue in Oskaloosa brings life back to your furniture. What was once viewed as dated or old-fashioned is transformed to have a whole new life ahead of it. Stop in and see Judy Gronendijk for furniture restoration. Plus, there are classes to learn how to paint furniture. Go to brushedbyjude.com for hours and more information. And stop in on the south side of the square in Oskaloosa to do some Christmas shopping at Brushed by Jude.
Welcome to this edition of Morgan You Asked For podcast, December 17th, Tuesday night about 9 o'clock. Drake and Kansas State just went to overtime, so you're going to get some updates of that game as we go. Drake, one of the, I think, 5 undefeated teams is what they said, so doing another good showing against a very, very pretty good, I would say, definitely top half, maybe top quarter team in Kansas State out of the Big 12. They're in Kansas City, but Drake definitely doing making Des Moines proud, and they're continuing a good run no matter how the game ends up. It's going to be all right.
Drake's had a pretty good season so far, haven't they?
Yeah, they're undefeated. So
okay, yeah,
they won that tournament around Thanksgiving. Beat Miami and beat Vanderbilt, and then obviously, playing a heck of a game against Kansas State here. So yeah, they seem to be the real deal. No one kind of knew what would happen because the guy came from Northwest Missouri State. He's from Iowa. Most of these kids are from Kansas City. He brought 4 kids from Northwest Missouri State. They have won 4 national championships. I don't know what years he all won them. I don't think they won it last year. Maybe they did. But a lot of these kids they win a lot of basketball games. And when you win, it's contagious, and they just know how to win. No matter what level you're at. You can see sometimes out here they're not as athletic as Kansas State guys, but they play basketball the right way, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, a big win if they can get it. I haven't really watched much of the men's college basketball yet this season, but it sounds like everybody's doing good, men's and women's, in the state of Iowa, right? You muted yourself, Morg.
There we go. Sorry.
There you go. You're back now.
Yep, Iowa State women are getting run out of the gym again by Connecticut. They've now played 3 of the 4 Final Four teams from last year. Obviously, the Iowa game was very close, but now the South Carolina and UConn game just shows the difference. They're not a top 5 team. They're probably a top 20 team, maybe top 25 team. That's about it. I don't think they're playing real well right now. They need to figure some things out. But we'll see. I think they will be better in March than they are right now. So, but then obviously the Iowa State men are number 3 in the country with their 1 loss to number 2 Auburn on a last-second tip-in, playing as good as anybody in the country. And they got a game Sunday, and then they'll go from there, take a few days off, and then the conference will start right around New Year's. But then the Iowa men, played a great game against Iowa State, actually, I think, last last Thursday, about a week ago now. Held the lead for most of the game, but Iowa State did pull away there at the end. I think they're 1-1 in the conference, and they kind of go out of conference for a few games here and then back in. But yeah, overall, basketball in the state of Iowa has been really good. The Drake women are good. The UNI women are pretty good. The UNI men, I watched last night a little bit. They beat Montana by 30. Obviously, Drake's playing well. So yeah, so it's setting up to be a pretty good winter here in Iowa if you like basketball.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch any of the Cyhawk games last week. We had our sales meeting there in Virginia, so it was just busy each night. But I did watch the Iowa women play Michigan State the other night, and between the two teams, I think there was 82,000 turnovers combined. So it was one of the uglier games I've ever watched in a long time, I should say.
Yeah, that's the Achilles heel of the Iowa women. Tennessee pressed them, made them force 30 turnovers. I didn't watch any of the Michigan State game. That's I kind of heard they had a lot of turnovers again. Teams that pressure them are going to give them fits, but Iowa State doesn't do that. That's just not how Iowa State plays. So they were able to do kind of whatever they wanted against Iowa State.
Yeah, we'll see if the Iowa women can get that press break figured out this year because, yeah, the two games that I've seen, for whatever reason, they're really struggling with it this year.
Yeah, it's just, and a different coach, they do things a little bit different. I think they play a little bit different defensively and just everything's just a little bit different. But I do think they're better than I thought they would be. And a couple of those freshmen are really, really good, and they're going to be really good.
Yeah, the freshmen are impressive. Needs Sydney Falter. She's a little bit rusty still after that surgery or whatever's going on, but I think she had a good game last week. Maybe it was.
Yeah, she played a good game. She can
wear that rust off and get her back.
Yeah,
okay.
she can
get back to kind of where she was last year. That'll help.
Yeah, she played really good against Iowa State and made a couple of huge plays down the stretch for her. So that's where we're going. And probably enough basketball. Our Drake is up 4 with 2 minutes left. So we'll keep you updated there. But kind of turn our attention to football now. Do you want to go with college first or the NFL first? What do you want to go with?
Let's go with we got playoff game starting Friday in college. Let's go with college.
Okay, college first. So obviously the inaugural college football playoffs start Friday, Notre Dame, and then 3 games Saturday. Coinciding with NFL, the Chiefs play, and that we're going to have that conversation here coming up when we talk NFL, the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. But just super excited. Yes, is it ideal? I've heard some things that Notre Dame people aren't real happy because the NCAA and the playoff committee, it's not the NCAA, I guess, the playoff, but Indiana's going to have an intro. They're going to have their own music to come out to. The playoff committee is dictating a little bit of how the game ops are done. So it's not going to be as much of a home field advantage as maybe we thought, besides being in your home place and home fans for the most part. And not having – and we got an email about this that it wouldn't – if you wouldn't be guaranteed a seat in the playoffs if you hosted. We got that from Iowa State just because of a little bit of corporate dollars, not as many student section tickets, because it's kind of like when you go to the playoff or start making the state tournament run in basketball, all that money goes to the state. Yes, if the game might be at New Sharon in North Mahaska, but all that money goes to the state, and then they pay back the school to cover their costs. But the money does go to the state, just like all the money is going to the college football playoff for this. Obviously, they're going to get money back to cover their expenses, but I do think that is going to make this seem more like a neutral site than it could. And I don't like that. You earn the right to host the game. You should be able to do it your way.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. That's the advantage of getting one of the top seeds that didn't get the first 4 on the bye. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. When you're playing at home it should be your music, your walkout. They walk out to whatever. But yeah, I'm not. I don't really like that either. That takes away a little bit, maybe not to the advantage, but just to the atmosphere of it.
Yep.
It should feel like a home game for all these home teams.
Yeah, I don't know how many fans Notre Dame Stadium holds. I'm going to say 75, 80,000. It's a big stadium. It's not a giant stadium. It's not 100,000. But let's just say it's 75,000 people. You know, if it's 60,000 Notre Dame fans, they don't want to hear Indiana's pregame and hype video on the board. They don't want to play that. I mean, I don't know. That I think you earn that right to host the game, and that should not be happening. But we'll see how it is. Maybe that rumor is a little bit, maybe it is a rumor instead of what they're actually going to do. But when people are in charge that don't think of the best for the fans and for the players, they're just worried about money and the look. Things don't go the right way.
I think Notre Dame holds a little bit more than what you're saying, but I can't remember off the top of my head what the exact capacity is. But yeah, I'm not a fan of that. But we'll see. This whole playoff this first year, since they've expanded to 12, we've talked about some of the other issues that they're going to have to address next year. So we'll see how these intros go. I guess if enough people complain, I would hope next year they would take that part out of it.
And we do have to give a little bit of grace. No one's ever done this before. They've never done this. This has never happened in college football. They've been playing it since 1890. Now, obviously, the game's way different now, but they've never done this before. So just like anything you do for a first time, they're all going to sit back in a meeting and what went well, what didn't go well, and hopefully they can make it better. I mean, that's just what should happen and what will happen, I know.
Yeah, they'll make improvements as time goes on. Now, I think I've maybe asked you this before, but do you know, can they expand to a larger playoff next year, or is there a contract that no expanding until a certain year?
I think it's 26. So I think, or maybe that's when they look at it. I think 2 years it's set, but then after that it can change. So I believe.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because of the bowl game agreements that they have, they probably can't expand right away just because of bowl game agreements with the TV networks and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, you and I both think it's going to get bigger, but I am looking forward to it. I'm going to be home Friday afternoon, so I'm sure I'll see you up at the Elks. That's where I'm planning to go, at least start to watch the game. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people up there. I think it's wing night, which would be fun. And yeah, we'll have to see how this whole thing goes over the weekend.
Yeah, I won't be there Friday. That's when we have Christmas at my mom and dad's. So I won't be there Friday, but then Saturday we can figure it out and come over to my house for a little bit. We can go up to the Elks for a little bit, kind of do some of both. It'll be a long day. Starts at 11. Last game starts at 7. So it's really going to be about 12 hours. We don't need to be anywhere for 12 hours in a row. we can move around a little bit.
Yeah, 12 hours in one place might be that might be a little bit much. We'll move around, but I think they said Notre Dame, Indiana is going to be the highest chance of snow for any of the four. Obviously, down in Texas, there's not going to be any.
Right, but I do think there's a chance at Penn State too. But they're both of them are going to be around 30 degrees, so not like bitter cold, but cold. But yeah, I think Notre Dame is supposed to snow.
Yeah, Indiana probably.
That'll be really cool. Now, the only problem with that is it's not a problem. It's just the way it worked out. But I wish it was like Miami or Florida or Texas going up there instead of Indiana, who is used to that. They're practicing outside all week, ready for it. It'd be like Iowa State going to Notre Dame. It doesn't matter. They're used to that. They're not getting a huge advantage with that. Now, Penn State hosting SMU, that's a different deal. Now, Dallas isn't as warm as Florida or South Texas, but it definitely is better than Happy Valley, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, for sure. Did you want to make our picks now, or do you just want to talk through the weekend games and then do our first round? I wanted to pick the first round this week, and then next week.
Yeah, we can do that because
our next picks if you want, or I don't probably do it.
Let me pull out the notebook. So we can do that, and that way I can then we got it written down. Pull out. All right.